just gravitate. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing in this world that can stop you from manifesting your heart's desires. Did you hear me? I said, there's nothing in this world that can actually stop you from manifesting your heart's desires. Whatever your heart's desires is, ma'am, whatever your heart's desires is, sir, I say, whatever it is, whatever your heart's desires are, you have the ability to manifest it. And so I'm just here on my assignment, y'all. I don't mean no harm. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here to chop it up with y'all, to help bring your vibrations higher, to help bring you into an understanding and a comprehension that I believe that it's all through our thoughts that dictates how our life will go. And so I did a session back in the day called Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. So what does the mirror say to you, ma'am? And so at the same time, I'm here this morning. I am Kendrick B. Davis Sr., your thought-provoking specialist. I'm your health conscious coach, as well as your intellectual content creator. And so at the same time, I'm here this morning to ask you, what does the mirror say to you? Ooh-wee. And so, of course, you know that everybody have something different to say. I do this all the time, and I recommend people looking in the mirror. I know that you pass by the mirror to a certain degree. Every morning, you'll get in the mirror and brush your teeth, or brush your hair, or wash your face, and you're in the mirror, and you're so consumed with what you're doing till you don't really, you glance by the mirror. And so, what I'm asking people to do now is stop for a second. Stop what you're doing for a second and look in the mirror and see exactly what it is that the mirror say to you. So the mirror, mirror on the wall, what is it saying? Because I actually believe that when you look in the mirror, I'm almost to the point of believing that some people don't even like what they see when they look in the mirror. Ooh-wee. And then some people will look in the mirror and blank off the mirror so quick because they can't even stand to see what's reflecting back at them in the mirror. And so at the same time, I'm saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, what is the mirror saying to you when you look in the mirror? What does it say? Does it say victory? Does it say alkaline conscientiousness? Does it say a world of frequencies and environmental increase? What does it say to you? Like when you look in the mirror, what does it say? And so at the same time, of course, y'all know I am your thought-provoking specialist. I'm your health conscious coach and your intellectual content creator. I don't want to basically give you anything that's less than intellectual content. And y'all might say, what kind of content is this with so-called intellectual stuff? You know what I'm saying? What is this? You know what I'm saying? This so-called intellectual content. And I'm just like, listen, it's the content by which I have in my spirit to say. And it makes it intellectual because at the same time, I'm not, doing anything other than that. And so at the same time, I'm just kind of like here this morning. I'm telling you that when you look in the mirror, it should say something. It should reflect something back to you when you look in the mirror. And so I suggest that everybody's pause periodically. I know you're busy in the morning. I know you're trying to get out the house, trying to get to your career and get to your job and get to your responsibilities. And I understand all that. All I'm asking you to do is stop by and pause and look in the mirror and see exactly what that mirror is reflecting back to you. And so at the same time, if it's reflecting victorious understandings, in spite of all that you've been through in this thing called life, you still gonna have to see the creator of all things in the universe as the ultimate superior being. Yeah, you're gonna eventually have to see that. you're going to eventually have to witness and understand that that is what it is, and that you are a part of that whole construct. And so at the same time, this morning, I want to read something into your hearing. I hope that this resonate in your spirit so much so to where you will actually be changed and or challenged by what's being said. It said, there is nothing in this world that can stop you from manifesting your heart's desire. Your faith overrules all other opinions and assumptions about you. You know what I'm saying? You keep what you see in your mind's eye sacred, and you create yourself and your reality in silence. And you tell no one your claims, because the time will come when they will all confirm your change. And all I'm here to do, ma'am, this morning is enlighten you and encourage you to become all that you have in your spirit to be. Just become it. And I know that sometime I had a session yesterday where I went deep into, this young lady telling me that, since she struggled with her daughter based on the fact that her daughter didn't see all the good that she had put forth in her over the years. And her daughter would use 2 or 3 things that actually she held on to bring her mama low, to bring her vibrations low, to make her feel like she wasn't the best parent that she had. I asked the lady, did you do your best? And sometimes all it's going to take is for you to put your best foot forward, man. And if you've done your best and your best still wasn't good enough for anybody that you did, I don't care if it was with your husband. If you've been the best wife that you know within your body and within your mind and your construct, that you've been the best, that you had the ability to be the best, and you've done your best, and your best still wasn't good enough, what are you supposed to do with those type of individuals? What do you do with individuals that say, I think you could have did more? And you say, wait, hey, hold on a second here. I really did my best. I really put my best foot forward. And if it still wasn't good enough, I'm here to tell you it's okay. Because I've been there and I've done that. And I've allowed people and I've allowed situations to make me feel less than, because I've put my best foot forward, and my best, as people looked around me, still felt as though it wasn't good enough. But I knew within myself that that was my best. Then guess what? They got to get in where they fit in at. I promise you, they got to get in where they fit in at, based on the fact that I know that I put my best foot forward, even not having a father figure on myself to look up to or to imitate or to gravitate in the direction towards. But I already know there's no such thing as perfect parenting. Ooh-wee. I know you might think you are a perfect parent, but talk to your children. Sometimes your children might say, Mom, I feel like you could have did better. Or Dad, I feel like you could have done better. And at the same time, then how that leave you? They leave you with a void, or it leaves you with a gap in your mind. Like, what can I have done when I know that I did everything that I could possibly do in order for you to be to the point where you are at this moment? You don't understand. Sometimes our children don't even understand the sacrifices that we made and we went without, just for them to have. And so we know that as parents, we know what we did. We know the sacrifice. We know how it made us feel as we stretched ourselves and we put ourselves under stress. Not only did we stretch ourselves, but we probably stressed ourselves as well financially, just to make sure that our children had more than we and our parents had to give us. And how would they get grown and become an adult and still feel like we didn't do enough? And so I'm getting ready to start a class and a course on F these children. Hey, no, I ain't gonna say that. Hey, no, I ain't gonna say that because y'all know y'all. Hey, look, man, forget these kids, man. Hey, listen, when you know you done did your best, when you know you done put your best foot forward, when you know you done stretched yourself thin, trying to make sure that they had more than what we was offered as children, and at the same time your best wasn't good enough, and then now you sit back on the cool shade of life as your life has transitioned into your 40s and 50s and 60s, and now you sit back over life and you look back over your life and you said, wow, my children didn't even see the effort. They didn't understand the effort. They didn't understand the sacrifice that I made in order for them to have. And so at the same time, it leaves a void in your heart. And I'm here to tell you that I'm here to heal your voids, man. Amen. Sir, I'm here to heal your voids. I'm telling you that some children are so ungrateful. Some children don't even have the grateful spirit, and they'll harp like they did on this young lady that I had a session with. They'll harp on her so heavy about the 3 times she didn't show up as opposed to the 1,000 times she did. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to have to let it go. Did you hear me? I said, I'm here to let you know that you're going to eventually have to let that go and still move past your past. I know you're going to have to move past the pains of the past in order for you not to bring those pains of the past into your present and or your future. And so I'm here to tell you that there's nothing that they can say. You should allow nothing to be said on your against your efforts, against your understanding, and against your wisdom and your knowledge of how you put forth the effort to do it. And so at the same time, I remember sitting down one time. I'm just sitting here chopping it over with y'all. Hey, I remember sitting down one time and having a conversation with my mother, right? And I don't know why, you know what I'm saying? I believe that when the creator of all things said, open the laptop and speak into the mind of the people, who would ever think that I'll be here talking my stuff today? I don't think that, but I think that sometimes deliverance can come through your speaking and through your understanding and through your internal awareness of how it all went. And sometimes your internal awareness supersedes what transpired in real life. In your internal awareness, when you walk internally aware that I definitely put forth my best foot forward in you, sir. Son, I put forth my best forward in you. I put forth my best in you, daughter. And when you have the ability to say, I did it, and I know I did it, and nobody can't tell me anything other than that, then no matter what your children may say to you, you have to know this for yourself. And so at the same time, I remember having a conversation with my mom. And she said, baby, she said, I didn't want you to go over to your dad's. She said, I believe that his mother thought that I got pregnant on purpose because of what his status was in the community, or his financial astuteness was. And so at the same time, I believe that if I had let you go over to your dad's, I knew that his mother, who thought differently than what transpired, would have did something to hurt you. And you know that day that my mama told me that, my mother told me that, it freed me, because I had to honor her in her thought, based on the fact that she said, I didn't want you going over there and getting hurt by them. And so I called myself protecting you from anything that they had going on in that area. And so I had to sit back and take a deep breath and honor my mom's decision based on the fact that she felt as though it was the best one that she made for the situation at hand at that moment. And so at the same time, to this day, I honor my mom's decision. And never really knowing my dad, never really knew my biological father for that reason. And so at the same time, but I still put forth the effort that I know that I had in my children. I put forth that effort because I was in their presence. And nobody couldn't rob me of that opportunity. And I took on that opportunity and I raised my children by myself with no financial help from their mother. And so I feel as though I broke a generational curse to a certain degree because my children know me. They know me. They know who I am. They know what I represent. They know that I've always been what I've always been. And so it's a blessing to know that I believe that generational curses was kind of like shifted, you know. And so I am capable of anything that I put my heart and my desires to be. I am capable of anything that I put my heart and my desires to be. And I am preparing my place. And I accept my desires in my inner world. Regardless of my current position in my outer world, I let go of all doubt, fear, and stress. Rather than using my physical world as evidence, I rely on the evidence of my inner world. Remember, I told y'all, as long as you did you're walking in internal awareness about all of this stuff. And sometimes I'm telling you, you might have to step outside of it, man. I know sometimes you don't have the ability to see it holistically for what it is at the moment because you have to step outside of it all and then look down in on it. And I believe that that's the best position to be in this earth as we move through this thing called life, right? As we move through this thing called life. As we move through this thing called life's curriculum, you're going to have a type of assessment that you step outside of all of it and you make your evaluations and your assessments outside of your feelings and out of your personal understanding. Sometimes you might have to step outside of all of it and then look down in on it, right? And I'm telling you right now, when you start to look down in on your life, or look down in on this world and this world systems and all the systems that they have in place for all of us. I mean, for every ethnicity. It ain't just, saying, I'm not talking just to my people, even though I believe that I've been called to talk to women and men of my particular ethnicity. But I feel like just the world systems that they've placed in place in order for you not to become everything that the creator of all things has desired for you to become. Because they're keeping you reaching outside of yourself in order to see it. I'm telling you right now, sometimes in this thing called life, you might just have to close your natural eyes and see it from your spirit eye, that third eye chakra. Close your natural eyes and see it from your spiritual eye. And then that's when you'll get the better and the best understanding. And so right now in this moment, I have to, as I prepare the place by which I believe the Creator is leading me, and as I accept my desires and in my inner world, regardless of the current position in my outer world, I let go of all fear, doubt, and stress. That's what I'm asking you to do, to let go of all fear. Anything that you once was afraid of, let go of fear. It's false evidence appearing real. And all the doubt that you might have in your mind about doubting yourself and your ability and your agility. You might have some self-doubt that will limit you from becoming all that it is that the creator of all things has called you to become. And so at the same time, there's a stress factor that's attached to that as well. That you might have to release all the stress and if it's an individual, if it's a child, listen, let me tell y'all something, man. If I have the ability, I know sometimes that, we're talking gender specific stuff here because I'm a man telling you that I have the ability to walk away from a wayward child. And I know that some women are so attached to their children that they couldn't even identify, they couldn't even conjure up a thought in their mind to have the ability to walk away from a child that's wayward. And I'm here to tell you that I have that ability. I have the ability to walk away from it, because at the same time, anything that will cause me stress or anything that will hold me against my past or try to bring my past into my present or my future, then I know that you really ain't trying to help me, because I know that it's certain things about my parental awareness at that moment that might not be what it is right now, but I made the decision that I made at that moment because I felt as though it was best for my children. And so you're going to make decisions that might not overall look the best in their eyesight when they view it, but you knew it was the best at that moment for what you had going on. And so at the same time, you know what I'm saying, rather than using my physical world as evidence, I rely on the evidence of my inner world. Because sometimes the inner world is the world that you operate from in your truth factor. When you when you operate in truth, and you know that truth is a part of your warfare armor, and you know that you had your loins girded with truth and your feet shod with the gospel of preparation of peace. When you had your breastplate of righteousness on, about the decisions that you made, you had a breastplate of righteousness on. You had the helmet of salvation where all your memories and your thoughts and your understanding and your comprehensions reside. And so at the same time, all the decisions that you made was made based on them, based on what the circumstances viewed at that moment. You made that decision. And that's why I had to honor my mom. I had to honor my mama's thoughts. I had to honor her and respect her in her wishes. But she said, I kept you away from your dad because I believe that his mother would have did something to hurt you while you was outside of my presence. And I had to sit down in my mom's living room and honor her thoughts because she brought me into this world. And so at the same time, I'm here to tell you this morning, everything ain't gonna always be beautiful in this thing called life's curriculum. That there's a curriculum of life that all of us have to endure. All of us have to move through life's curriculum. And we bear forth children through this time. And we've done the best that we could with what we had and how we thought and how we reasoned with what we had going on. And so at the same time, if you sit down and tell your child, hey, look, I'm doing the best I can with what I have, and they still can't understand that, then at the same time, you might have a decision to make, man. And so I'm here this morning saying you have to prepare a place for yourself to accept your heart's desires and from your inner world. Regardless of what your current position look like in the outer world, you got to know that you walking within your inner world solidified, solid, secure, stable in your thoughts and in your being and who you were and who you are. Because who you once were is not who you will be. You're gonna have to evolve into the person by which you wasn't at one time before. And so at the same time, you're going to have to rely on the evidence of your inner world. My wonderful imagination. I feel and believe my desire to be fulfilled in my inner world, and I simply watch as my outer world conforms to it. I believe that you're going to have this inner perspective, intro perspective, that you're going to have to tap into your intro perspective and see it from the inside out. And I know that everybody that's witnessing how you move and how you parent and how your career choices has been and how you have caused all these things to unfold in your life. I know people can stand outside of it and then look in it on it and go, oh, I would have did it differently. But they're not you. You are the only fingerprint in the earth that can do it your way, man. I said, you are the only fingerprint in the earth that can do it your way. Your fingerprint is different from any other person's fingerprint in this earth. And so at the same time, they can sit back and look at it and say, I would have did it differently. Well, sir, that's on you because that's your fingerprint. Maybe you have the ability to do it differently because you couldn't do it like how I did it because I'm the only fingerprint in the earth that can do it my way. And when you start moving according to that understanding, did you hear me? I said, when you start moving according to that wisdom and that knowledge that the creator of all things, there's no fingerprint that has came through this earth prior to yours, and there's no fingerprint that will come through this earth after yours. That you're the only one that by design that can do it your way. So it kind of behooves me sometimes that how people look around on social media and they'll look around on social media and then look at everybody else's stuff and then try to mimic somebody else's stuff and act like it's going to work for them. That's not how this goes. Because at the same time, you're going to have to understand that there's a fingerprint in the earth that you obtained that no one else has ever had and no one else will ever have. And so at the same time, by you doing it your way and being solid and secure in the way by which you do it, you got to know that that's the way I did it because that's the only way I knew how to do it. When you start to move in that capacity right there, when you start to move in that understanding, and when you start to free yourself from everybody else's criticism, you start to free yourself from everybody else's thought process. You start walking in freedom, freedom of thought and freedom of understanding and freedom of wisdom and knowledge and freedom of essence and who you are and the entity by which you are in this earth, the energy by which you are in this earth at this moment. It's impactful. We need you to move at your best and move according to your own power. Move according to your own life's curriculum, because your life's curriculum didn't go like anyone else's. It's your own life's curriculum that you're going to have to understand that this is my life's curriculum. I'm going to do it according to the way I want to, because that's where victory will lie for you. That's where clarity will lie for you. That's where understanding will lie for you, is through you doing it your own inner way. And so at the same time, once you make the decision, did you hear me? I say, once you really make a decision on moving internally, once you make that decision, you will find all the people and the resources and the ideas you need every time. Once you make the decision, I said, once you make the decision, ma'am, to walk internally aware, based on your internal understanding and awareness that you exude into the atmosphere outside of yourself, once you make that decision to become internally aware, knowing that you did put your best foot forward, knowing that you've done everything that it is that you've been called to do. And I think you can sit back on the front porch of life after it's all said and done and know I did my best. And I kept showing up. And so the title of this session is Keep Showing Up. I know you're going to make some folk mad. Every time you show up with your smile on your face, in spite of what you got going on in your inner world and your outer world, you still show forth a smile and a good aura and a good energy and a beautiful frequency. You still show forth that in the earth. In spite of all the things that you can be bitter about, you still show forth goodness and mercy and health and wealth and wellness and well-being. You still show forth kindness and love and caring. You still show forth goodness in the earth, in spite of all that you might have going on. I'm here to tell you, once you make that decision, you will find all the people. I'm telling you, they're all around you at this moment. It's just waiting on you to make the decision. Once you make that one good decision, say, I put my best foot forward. I've done it the way that I knew that I had the ability to do it, the ability and the agility. I did it the way that I felt as though it was in my best interest at that moment. Once you make that decision, once you make that conscious decision, ma'am, hey, sir, hey, bro, once you make that decision, my brother, that I did my best, and I'm walking in this internal awareness that I did my best, then I'm telling you right now, you will find all the people, all the resources. They're already present, but they're waiting on you to make the decision by which you have to cognitively make this decision in a conscious understanding of who you are and whose you are. I'm telling you right now, once you make the decision, you will find all the people and the resources and the ideas you need. You'll find those people. Those people will be attracted to you based on the decision that you made. And I can tell you this, y'all. 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, if you had asked me what would I be sitting here speaking into the mind of the people with a master's degree in clinical psychology and a master's degree in ministry from Ohio Christian University and with all these bachelor's degree in psychology, I mean, would I have been here right now? Had I never made a decision, I had the creator of all things, never said, open the laptop and speaking to the mind of the people. Who would ever think that to this day, I would be here two years later, I'll be here speaking into the mind of the people. But it was based on the decision that I made of obedience. And I know that obedience is better than sacrifice. And I know that you have to be obedient in order to get through the processes of life. You're going to have to be obedient. You're going to have to keep showing up in spite of anything that might be going on in your personal life. You still got to show up. And so I'm here this morning to tell you to continue to show up in spite of it all. Show forth your security and your stability by showing up every day on your assignment. If he's giving you 5 days a week, then show those 5 days a week. He's giving me 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. I'm on speaking into the mind of the people. Some days I have nothing to say. Like yesterday, y'all go to that session, I had absolutely nothing to say. But I said a whole hour long full of stuff that I was in my spirit and was in my heart. And so I'll come here and I'll sit down as a clean slate. I'll allow the creator of all things to speak through me. And hopefully I've said something this morning that will enlighten or encourage or inspire you to keep moving on. Don't throw in the towel. This is not the time to throw in the towel. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to do anything other than keep showing up. Prepare the place of serenity that you need. Prepare and create the space of serenity that you need. You might have to go inward to get it. Did you hear me? You might have to prepare that place from an internal perspective. And then drop down into your innermost being. And then prepare a sacred place that you don't let nobody come and interrupt from the internal perspective of life. They might have the ability to touch it externally. But you're going to have to go inside yourself and prepare a place of sanctity and a place of security and a place of solidified thoughts. That I did my best with my children, with this world systems that's in place. I did my best. You've done your best, and somebody outside of yourself is saying your best still wasn't good enough. You'll have the power to say, I did my best. I made the decision. I made it. And I created that space for myself internally. And don't let nobody come and touch that internal space that you've made for yourself and try to cause a void to be internal. Nah. You're going to have a void, let it be external outside yourself, man. If there's going to be a void or a gap, sir, let it be outside yourself. You got to be solid inside yourself. So when you walk in this earth, you can walk with a certain level of security and solidified thoughts about, I did my best. My best wasn't good enough to anybody outside of me. And that's something that they're going to have to deal with on their own. Maybe they'll have to create their own sacred space inside themselves in order for them to live a good, productive life. And so I'm here this morning with Bob Proctor. He said, once you made the decision, you will find all the people and the resources and the ideas you need every time. Once you make that decision, you will find all of the people, the resources, and the ideas that you need in order to push your stuff forward. You'll find them every time. And so I am Kendrick B. Davis, Sr. I am your thought-provoking specialist. I'm your health-conscious coach and your intellectual content creator. I'm also your podcast professor, even when I don't have that lab jacket. I got a hoodie on this morning, and y'all could best believe I'm still your podcast professor. I have the credentials. I wanted to go and do it on a collegiate level. I can do it. I have the credentials to do it that way, but that's not the way that the creator of all things has called me to. Because there's some limitations and some borders and some boundaries. When you go into that arena, you can't even say God or JC. You can't even say certain things in corporate America. What 2 things in corporate America that you're not supposed to talk about? What's the 2 things in corporate America that you should not speak on in any situation? You want to type it in there for me, or y'all want me to say it to you? Politics and religion, right? No political viewpoints in that arena. No religious viewpoints in those arenas. And so maybe the creator of all things said, open the laptop and speak into the mind of the people, because I'm free enough to do it here. I know that it's a tangible, touchy subject, politics and religion. I try to stay far from it too, even as I do it here, but I'm free enough to speak on it because this is my podcast. Y'all can keep scrolling if you don't like nothing I'm saying. You can keep scrolling. But I'm here this morning to tell you to prepare a place that is sanctified and set apart for your own well-being. Your home health, your home wellness has to be done from an internal perspective. And you can prepare a place internally and accept that your desires in your inner world, regardless of your current position of your outer world, you might have to accept your inner world, regardless of the current position of your outer world, and let it all go. Doubt, fear, and stress. Rather than using your physical world as evidence, you must have to rely on the evidence of your inner world to solidify your thoughts and understanding. And so you wondering why your imagination is so vivid, because sometimes you might have to imagine these things in your internal being. They'll start manifesting themselves outwardly into the outer part of your understanding. When you start to internally imagine all the things that your heart's desire, then I believe that the creator of all things understand where you are, and he'll start allowing the manifestations of your innermost being to manifest outward to your outer world. And so once you start feeling it, and once you start believing your heart's desires, and you start believing that you're fulfilled by your inner world, that you'll watch your outer world conform to what your inner world established. And so at the same time, I'm here this morning to just talk to the mind of the people, help you to understand that we're all in this thing together. We all have our own individualized curriculum. Did you hear me? I said we all have our own individualized curriculum that we must go through. It's our life's curriculum. So your fingerprint is different from any other fingerprint in the earth. Don't look around this world and try to find anybody to mimic, because then you will become a carbon copy. I want you to be an original. Just like how I sit here in an original state of mind. I don't sit here with no false pretenses. I don't come here with no hidden objective or no underlying motive. Sometimes I just come here and I pour out my spirit into the atmosphere. And whoever it is for me to touch, whoever it is for me to allow to speak into, it'll get to that ear. It'll get to that person's ear. The real true people, it'll get somehow or another to their ear for them to hear and for it to go past their tympanic membrane and vibrate so deep into their spirit, they'll be changed through this one conversation. And so maybe I had to live 20 years of life. I don't want to call it discord. I say maybe I had to live 20 years of life in order to have a 20-minute conversation with a young man that's about to take his life. Maybe I'm here to speak in life into that individual. 20 minutes of this conversation, and he might say, man, listen, man. It might be an aha moment that he might have or she might have that catapults and propel her past suicide or homicide. So I'm here on my assignment. I'm here to speak into the mind of the people. I'm here to galvanize. I'm here to orchestrate or navigate your thoughts. I'm here to help your thoughts relinquish themselves. Especially if you have a child that want to hold you against your past. When you know you did your best. You made the best decision for them or for us at the moment, and he still or she still have a problem with the decision that you made. At the same time, sir, you'll always be my child, sir. Soldier, you'll always be my kid. You would never be on the mindset or the level by which I am. I brought you into this world. And so at the same time, you're going to have to honor me in the decision by which I honor my mother. I honored my mother when she told me that. I honored her because I had to honor her thought process and her decision-making process by which she felt as though somebody would try to hurt me physically. I probably wouldn't even be here right now had she let me go over there. So I got to respect that. And I told her that before she passed away. I said, I honor your decision. Do you hear me? I say, we might have to honor our parents' decision, our parents. I know we're in our 50s and our 60s, and sometimes our parents are still here on this earth at the moment. You might have to go to your mom and your dad and say, Mom, I honored your decision. I honored it. And so at the same time, when you honor your children, your parents, you honor the people who brought you into this world, maybe at some shape, form, or fashion, your children will grow up enough to honor you in your decision. So that's how it went for me. So as I walk through this life's journey, as I walk through this life's path of understanding, this life's curriculum, that how it's been dealt to me, I told you I'm writing a book called Out the Gate with a Lemon. I came out the gate with lemons of life. That's a lemon. That is a lemon to not have a biological father that you could see and or look up to. That's a lemon. I've taken the lemons of life. I truly believe that I've made lemonade. Did you hear me? I said I've added sweetener to it. And the sweeteners that I want you to add to the lemons that you come, because everybody have lemons. Everybody have lemons of life. And so I'm here to tell you that there's some lemons that will come your way that you have no control over. All you have control over to do is to see it. All you have control to do, ma'am, is to see it from the perspective by which your thoughts will add a sweetener to it. You could say to yourself, well, maybe my dad would have abused me. Maybe he would have took me down a path by which I couldn't have came back from. And that's the reason why. And so you can add sweeteners of thought based on these lemons. And so I'm asking you to make a decision. Did you hear me? I said, I'm asking you to make a decision. And once you make the decision of understanding, once you make a decision of clarity, once you make a decision of being obedient, once you make a decision, regardless of your current position in the world, once you make a decision that I'm solid internally, then I can tell you this, you will find all the people, all the resources, and all the ideas to make it be so every time. That's the truth of the matter. It'll be people that's around you that would understand why you did what you did and the capacity by which you did it. And so I'm here this morning. Am I here? Yes, I'm still here. Am I still solid? Yes, I'm still solid. Am I still secure? Oh, yes, I'm still secure. Am I still whole? Oh, yes, I'm whole. Am I still elaborate? Yes, I am an elaborate thinker. Am I still secure in who I am in the earth? Yeah, ain't nothing gonna shake my foundation because I'm solid. I'm solid. That makes the difference. And so I came this morning. I saw and I've conquered. I think rich because the power of the mind has taught me to do so. Think above your situation and your circumstances here right now. Stand outside of it all and then look down in on it. And one of my favorite theorists is Erik Erikson. If you Google Erik Erikson, he came up with the stages of life. And I know that at certain stages of life, integrity versus despair is the last stage. And we're entering into these stages. And maybe I need to go back into it from a psychological perspective and start talking about each stage that you might have to go through, and you get a reward for the stage by which you went through successfully and became that situation, right? And so at the same time, there's a stage, the last stage of life is integrity versus despair. And so when you sit back on the front porch in your rocking chair of life, with your white picket fence and your circle car driveway, you sit back in your white rocking chair with your cup of lemonade. I'm here to tell you, ma'am, that you can add a sweetener to it. So when you sip your cup of lemonade at the end of life, you won't be sipping it with despairing type concepts. You will sip your lemonade with integrity, knowing that you've done your best. You did all that you can do. You can sit back in the cool shade of life and say, I did what I had to do. I've raised my children. I had my career. I was successful through it all. I'm a success story. In spite of all of the failures that I might have failed, I can still look at the hourglass and say, it's more with me than there is against me. There's more positives about this thing called life than there were negatives. There are more alkaline, conscientious thoughts about this thing called life more than there were acidic thoughts. And so when you sit back and you sip your lemonade, you can say, I did it. I did it according to the desire by which I internally desired to do it. Did you hear me? I say, when you sit back and say, I did it according to the internal desires, my heart's desires internally, and I did it according to the power that worketh within me, then you'll sit back with integrity. You can have a smile on your face as you transition out this world into the other, because you know you did it according to your own thought process, according to your own belief, according to your own understanding and comprehension. In spite of how everybody else may feel, you did it according to you, your fingerprint in the earth. You did it according to your heart's desire. I believe that that's when integrity, that's when your morals and your values, you walk this thing out called life and life's curriculum with integrity. And so you can sit back with your cup of lemonade and sip. Toast to all of the individuals. Toast to Facebook. Toast to YouTube. YouTube, thank you for chiming in with me this morning. I am Kendrick B. Davis, Sr., your thought-provoking specialist. And hopefully I can say something. Hopefully I've said something that will inspire, encourage, correct, challenge, change, charge. Maybe I'm here to charge your life. Maybe I'm here to charge you to look internally and understanding that you've done it your way. Be blessed. I am Kendrick B. Davis, Sr., your thought-provoking specialist, and I'm on assignment. I'll see y'all again tomorrow.